it might be a challenge to use the bacon. Because if something like this is just hanging in your kitchen, how do you... This is one tiny way to eat bacon. Cube it up and set it to render in a pan. And that is the medium for everything. It imparts a salty, porky, nutty fat, grease to the pan in which you can cook anything. This is a nice young lean pig, so this will give us some lovely mild lean bacon. And we use them for beans, for any braise. Anytime you are going to cook something in a large pot with liquid, and you think, gee, some porky, salty, smoky richness would be good, and that's what your rind is for. And that, I think, is the best way to make full use of your belly. Really interesting. We've talked about salt tolerance before, and now it's abysmal. And it's not because we're eating less salt. We just can't tolerate its flavor, because they figured out how to deconstruct salt, into sodium doodly bobs and put it in everything so that it actually stimulates the appetite to eat more, but doesn't taste salty. And so we're actually eating more salt, but tasting less in the general American diet. I know you guys aren't, but that's the way it goes. And so when you cure bacon with just salt, particularly a la Maynard Davies, you're using real salt. And so you're actually tasting it. And so it is trickier for people. You generally regard this bacon as something like salt pork, because we're actually not used to the flavor of salt in our bacon. We're used to the effect of nitrite in our bacon, which is not a salty flavor. It's a tang. It's almost if it were to be amplified all the way, it would be metallic. But it's mild enough in bacon to not have a metallic flavor to it. So that when you ask, are the recipes good? They are good, but if you've made bacon on your own before, you won't be startled by the salt flavor. If you haven't, you'll be like, what did I do? This is a lot of salt. And I think it's also helpful to note that he is curing, still assuming that the bacon is preserved. That the point of salt in the bacon is not just to make it taste wonderful, because he's got like 30 different kinds of bacon: Cheshire bacon, Yorkshire bacon, Shropshire bacon, and it's all regional. Brandonham bacon, Wiltshire bacon. It's incredible. So they're not just all salt pork, salt bombs, right? There's clearly other flavors coming through that are totally unique. And it might just take getting a little accustomed to them. And I think it takes about 2 weeks for your flavor, your taste buds to get used to a particular salt content. And then you're good to go. But yeah, it's good stuff. He's got great ham recipes, great histories in there, particularly how they used to do things, how we can't do them anymore. One of the coolest old traditions is of the Wiltshire curing method. And they would cure the sides whole. They would bone them out and they would brine them whole. The whole thing would become bacon in Wiltshire. And the unique thing was that it was brined. It was wet brined. And not just that, the brines were never changed out. And so I think what they actually were able to do, they maintained the brines. It was a true pickle. And, it's not easy to do, because every time you put a side of pork in a brine, whole side, these are huge brines, and then take it out, you're removing salt out of the brine. So you have to add salt back in, but not put too much, right? Just right amount. And they didn't sterilize the brines, because that was the key to their flavor. So it's not like you boil it, and completely cook it off. Who knew? They added something to the brines in addition to sea salt, sugar. Actually, I think it was just sea salt and water. They added saltpeter, which is potassium nitrate, also used in the making of gunpowder, and on its own has no effect on bacon. Just potassium nitrate, you won't taste it, it won't do anything. It must reduce to nitrite within the bacon, and then it will impart a particular mild tangy flavor, which when it's mild is a really good foil to salt and fat. Again, right? We're creating another harmony. And this was really perfected in Wiltshire. And it was done in their brines through the expertise of these curers that could maintain the brines because they never sterilized them. So you put a pig in there in the brine, and yeah, it's coldish, but you're introducing tons of bacteria to the brine. And guess what the bacteria is? It's a catalyst for the reduction of nitrate to nitrite. So they had to have bacteria in the brines. And what they ended up with is brines with a high amount of nitrite, already reduced nitrate. It's pretty cool. And that revolutionized it. That revolutionized bacon. Then everybody wanted Wiltshire bacon.